It's going down like this, motherfucker.
For what he has, he says that the only way that we can solve our problem is to unite together among ourselves, among our own kind, clean ourselves up, rid ourselves of the evils that we've become addicted to here in this society, and try and...
Off my dome, this is actually taught by the people who are ancestors of the Mayans in
This ain't loud enough. This ain't loud enough. This ain't loud enough.
I just left the light in.
Fuck up. Move the fuck back.
Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man. Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man.
Joe Vid. Joe Vid. Joe Vid. Joe Vid. You don't understand. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. It's cool enough just being cool, like I am, chilling.
I mean, TikTok. I mean, TikTok. I mean, TikTok. I mean, TikTok.
You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes. I think very deeply.
Hey, dance with me. Hey, dance with me. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Do you like?
Damn white boys out there. Most of them is psychopaths and all that. They'll kill your mama's mama and you.
Decent white folk that still don't know they're racist.
What's all that noise? Oh, that's just Dad. What's all that noise? What's all that noise? What's all that noise?
I think we OD. I think we OD. I think we OD.
That's what me and this nigga do. We picked something and then we ran about it. Yo, baby, I got all the dope moves. You got the dope what?
The Chinese platform, you already know they don't give a fuck about your black ass. The Chinese platform, you already know they don't give a fuck about your black ass. The Chinese platform, you already know they don't give a fuck about your black ass.
Baby, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I come. I hit the loop juice and pulls up in the baby, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I come.
I'm legendary in this motherfucker. I just be shopping and shit, you know, drinking and shit, do a little smoking and shit.
Do that dance.
I stopped playing. To the east, to the west, to the south, above, below, and the middle. To the east, to the north, to the west, to the south, above, below, and the center. This is Big Pontiac, and welcome to the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am the holder of the infinite sacred ball game that was created by the Hero Twins. And I am that one and only galactic daddy welcoming each and every one of you to my galactic patio that reaches from Minnesota to the universe. I guess that's my cue. I guess that's my cue. What'd you say, J Money? JT Money, what? What? I'm back. What's happening? And tonight we are having Kowalski's natural spring water. Do you want to hear a weird story? The dude who owns this Kowalski's, let me see if I can remember this story. He fell off the dock and hit his head, I think, on a propeller of his boat, and it killed him. The guy that owned this store. So tonight I'm just drinking natural spring water. So pop them if you got them. There we go. In the copper cup with the sugar. And smoking just on some weed. So smoke them if you want them. Oh, I'm taking edibles too. Let's clear a little air out here. Clear a little of the air out with this sage. Give thanks. Thanks for inspiration. Thanks for the muse. Oh my goodness, this stuff smells so good. Yeah. And I've got a little Palo Alto. So that comes from the plant world. Now the wood. You know, Fouché. You get on them, and you know they look at as the wood. You know. So Palo Alto is to the trees. Thank you. I mean, if it wasn't for the trees, most of our dwellings, we live amongst the trees. All of our dwellings, everybody's watching, unless, you know, you're in certain countries where your house is made of bricks or, you know, mason, the big mason blocks, like basement blocks. But if, you know, most people in North America, we live in some type of wood establishment. And, you know, essential oils, I got some going back there because we are still under the moon energies. So remember, the moon energies go 4 days before and 4 days after. So let's see, who are the party people tonight? Who are the party people that want to party with me? Ooh. Who do we got here? I saw Lobo was in there. What's happening, Lobo? And Lobo, I know for you being here, you got to have vision. My man, PJ Allen. And I know you are always in control of
my bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches? What?
I know you can control your bitches, and I know this is why you're here.
Got to have vision.
You have the vision. I hit the loose juice and pulls up in the deuce. Gives me the scoop about the fake ass truth and how niggas out there want to play. I take another hit of the wet and then I blast away. How far, player? That's right. Beat Boys, what is happening? And because you're here, I'm sure you have
got to have vision.
My man Jamar, what's happening? And I know you got
to have vision.
Anthony G, what's happening? Whoops, too far. And I know you have.
Got to have vision.
B Brown, what is happening? And I know you have.
Got to have vision.
You know, I put that the Vegas one. I mean, the one Goldie got knocked out in the starting Goldie for the Panthers got knocked out in the second period, and he gave up 4 goals. So I think it ended up being 6-1. But it was funny, they got to fighting. And you really in the finals, you don't see fighting, but it was like some several dirty plays. One dirty play, dude ended up coming back and scoring a goal, but dude got checked like it's supposed to be you can't blindside people. He got blindsided. And no penalty or anything because he did hit him with his shoulder. But yeah, they got to him early. Early in the first period, 2 goals. Second period, 2 goals. And knocked the goalie out. And it ended up, you know, it wasn't a very good game, but it was a very physical game because there was a lot of fighting because, you know, when it's ass whooping like that, they not feeling too good. And the Panthers, the brother got hurt early in the game. I thought that made a difference too. He got hurt early. I think he's the one brother for the Panthers. He got hurt. So overall, it was okay. The game was okay. Kind of boring. So it's 2 up. So, you know, Vegas could be on the verge of a sweep. We'll see. We'll see. Vegas is up 2-0. So it's interesting because a lot of times what we see games reflected in the same. You know, games have the same reflection. A lot of times when we have this simultaneously games, where a lot of times they'll follow each other, but in this case they really didn't. So now we got 2-0 and we got 1-1. So it's interesting. It's very interesting how this turned out. So we'll see. And for those of you that do baseball and the gematria people out there, maybe remember championship games or these baseball games can give hints also to these finals. So, you know, you can go by the names, the numbers, however, you know, your research will lead you to, but just keep that in mind that these other games that's going on the same days could be hints. And I think, you know, we've all broke that down before. But Brother Lobo's here. If you guys not subscribe to him because he's one of the younger generations that's going to keep their foot on their neck, you know, and that's good about, you know, I look at what legacy I've had on YouTube, and that's probably my biggest legacy is the younger guys was able to see this and say, hey, you know, there's something to this. And that's great. You know, that's great that younger eyes can be on this. And so I feel so good that the work can be extended. And so, yeah. But you know, it's and this is what's heartbreaking. It really is sort of a heartbreaking thing. As I said, I can't ever say that any of my college games was scripted. I can't really say that for sure. I just know at times we ran a crappy defense, and I never understood that. We ran a 3-deep defense, 4 linebackers. You know, we rushing 4. And you know, when you run that, you know, when you blitz, you got everybody man for man. You blitz on one side, you're going to have to drop one of them linebackers to guard the tight end. Or one of the middle linebackers. So that was the only thing I questioned about. I meant to save this article. I came into an article about Joe 747 Adams. He was a cat I played against twice. He beat us. Well, we had him down there. And what I didn't realize is the year we had him, which would have been 91 season, when they took away 2 of our touchdowns, they went 9-1. And I think they made the playoffs that year. So we had them. We definitely had that team. We ended up going 9-3. But we had them. So, but it was interesting coming across these people. You know, a guy that was extremely talented, but what was interesting about Joe was a straight up drop back quarterback. That's what he taught. He's a lot like Doug Williams, thinner guy, but straight up just drop back quarterback. I wanted to see if y'all heard about this. Let me see if, I don't know if it come back up. And that's what I was afraid of. Oh, wow. Huh. Wow, I didn't hear about this. Okay, let's see. What am I trying to... Oh, let me see. Yeah, let's see. See if I can get this. Mid season. Here we go. All right, here we go. I don't know if you guys caught this. This was the game yesterday. How the NBA's midseason tournament can save the regular season. Plan it out right, and the league could spice things up without sacrificing quality. The modern NBA fan is more likely to binge a Netflix series over the weekend instead of following the storyline of 22 episodes. So, of course, watching 82 game longer than tedious than ever. The NBA recognizes shifts in attitudes and trickle down to its own workforce. Players are mentally and physically checking out early in the year. Load managers water down the regular season product, and Kyrie Irving seemingly dips out for a couple of weeks of PTO every winter. Even Commissioner Adam Silver thinks regular season sucks and is trying to... Okay. Now, this is the interesting thing about this. When LeBron and them, because they cut the games down, it was 80... Well, it's always been 82 games. But remember, a couple years ago, they broke it down to 70 games. They're crying about... None of these old heads that wore Converse crying about 82 games. If you play in the playoffs and win the championship, it's closer to 90 games. So you don't see any of the old players, but anyway, I'm getting off the point. But here we go. Adam Silver thinks the NBA says sucks and says in an interview with Yahoo Sports during the most recent All-Star, he broached the idea of shortening the schedule permanently to incorporate a mid-season tournament. 67 to 72 games, like the one played in 21, would probably solve their issue, but it's ask a league that committed to 82 seasons since 67. Owners and players have no interest in reducing gate receipts or basketball income. He recently disclosed that negotiations have begun with the union about some sort of instituting a midseason tournament. NBA's a midseason tournament as early as 23. Now, he just came out the other night, and it looks like it's going to happen. Mid-season Cup is coming to NBA this decade. Here's why they should consider it. Whatever the NBA decides to do, they'll have a thread and a needle. An in-season tournament that distracts from the championship would need incentive for stars to participate, especially from contenders. Otherwise, 10 teams would not play their younger players. $1 million bonus for each player has been proposed. Now, that's closer to what he said yesterday. He said they're going to get paid very well, and he said... they're going to get, let's see, because this, yeah, right here. This might be it. Let's see. All right. It's planning, because it was last night. Yeah, this is it. This is the one we got last night. All these freaking commercials. Commissioner Alvin Silver on Sunday did his best to clarify the format with incentives of still unnamed tournament. Barkley appeared some way unconvinced answers to the question. The humorous exchange took before game 2 in which Miami, blah, 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 blah. We're talking about a series of regular season games, and we're designating those as tournament games. The games will count for both the regular season and for the in-season tournament. The 4 teams that are still standing will come together and will go to a neutral site, and they'll play for, essence, a separate trophy. The answer gave Barkley more ammunition, follow-up questions such as whether the competition would only include the league's best teams or worst teams. Silver said the tournament would include all 30 teams. The fun didn't stop when Barkley's confused in which NBA teams would participate in the new competition, again, all of them. He then asked Silver about the motivation would be for players on contending teams who are already eyeing a finals run, citing designated nights off for some of the league's star players' potential deterrent. We've already got the load management issue, Barkley said. If I'm on the team that's trying to win the Larry O'Brien, Toby, what's in it for me In that tournament, we've already having a hard time getting these guys to play. Silver tried again, explain that the tournament games will count as regular season games, so players will still be motivated to see. This is where the fix comes in, motivated to perform at a high level, which will lead to potential seedings at stake. He also said there'll be additional financial incentives for player if they win a new competition. But see, this is the whole point. Remember, you've ever known anybody that's played ball in Europe? They play tournaments. You know, they'll go to a tournament. They have league play, but a lot of the play is this. They go to tournaments. Remember what the TNT tournament that we're about to see when this ends. The TNT is little tournaments that start in little places and then they move to one big tournament. But it's tournament basketball. And because of, remember, the first basketball that came by after the shutdown was the TNT basketball. So I'm for this. Anything, because the game is boring. And if a young team, they can script some of these young teams. And don't be surprised that the teams that haven't won the NBA, don't be surprised if they end up winning one of these tournaments. So Chuck just had, okay. Inaction of all pieces falling in place. Maybe not. Not seeing the former All-Star still feuding Nugget mascots all these years. Okay. So, yeah, that's the big thing that's coming in. So, I don't know how everybody feels about that. Valerie, what's happening? And for you being here, I know you have.
Got to have vision.
It's looking like a sweep. Salutations. Very kind words. Yeah. So I don't know if y'all heard about that. Another thing, and I've just had to, I still don't know if this is, let's see. Let's see if I can get this to act right or not. See if I solved my problem. Probably not, but let's just see. All right. Maybe yes. Which one is it? Well, let's see. Casual day up here. Didn't no, still not. Yeah, very nice day up here today. There was one more page. I think it was this page. But just to show you. Nah, okay, I can't use this. That's all right. Let me see. What did I put this under? Right here. Oh, here we go. Now, of course, we know that the most championships are with, of course, the Lakers tied with the Celtics. And then next we have Golden State, which used to be the Philadelphia Warriors. Then we have the Chicago Bulls with 6. They're only 6 in their whole history. Chicago Bulls have been in the league since 66 or 67. Spurs have 5, the only ABA team that has a championship. We have the Pistons with 3, the Sixers with 3, and the Miami Heat with 3. We have the Knicks with 2, we have the Bucks with 2, and we have the Houston Rockets with 2. And this is to show you how least teams win. That's not right. Oh, okay. So teams that won, they go back when the Kings were called something else. So they're saying the Kings got a championship, but they were called something else. Portland has 1. Kings have 1. Toronto has 1. Trying to think who else. Dallas has 1. Dallas has one. Washington has one. That's what one of these teams are. And then we look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 teams have not won a championship. And out of those 12 teams, I don't know. I don't even know if I could call the Clippers expansion team because the Clippers been in the league 50 years. But the Clippers, Hornets, Grizzlies, Timberwolves, Nuggets, Trailblazers, Suns, Portland, Utah, and Phoenix have now won a championship. So, and remember, to keep the NBA alive, well, you looked at the 70s again. You know, the 70s, what saved the 70s again was the Lakers and Celtics. What saved basketball was the Lakers and Celtics, with Magic and Bird coming in the league. Because that year, the championship game, we already knew who, like, we didn't, like, this is how dirty they used to do us. They used to do us this dirty when it was tape delay. You would watch the news and the news would tell you who won. But you couldn't watch the game because the games didn't come on till like 11 o'clock East Coast time. So we watched the news, you know who won already, but we would still watch the game. That is how bad the NBA's TV contract was. And again, this is really before TNT even kicks in and starts the games. Because I want to say TNT kicked in 83, 84 when they started doing games. So these are the two players. And so again, you know, this is their, like, if you look at the script, this is the script. You know, this is the script. You know, the NBA championships is the script. I mean, I guess we can find it here. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Let's, is that gonna give me, yeah. All right, here we're gonna go get it. This is the NBA. Let me see. So the first champion was the Chicago Stags. Western champion was Chicago Stags. And you had the Philadelphia Warriors winning the very first championship. 1948, you have the Baltimore Bullets beat the Warriors. 49, 50. 49 and 50, we have the George Mikan teams. The Lakers still was the Lakers. They saw from the very beginning that they wanted the Lakers involved. Rochester Royals, who I think are now the Sacramento team, I think the Royals, because Rochester Royals became the Cincinnati Royals. They went out to become the Kansas City Kings. Okay. So we have the Lakers. Then we have the Syracuse Nationals. I don't know who they are now. If they're still somebody, I think. Then we have the Warriors winning another one. Then we had what used to be called the Fort Wayne Pistons. Pistons were in Fort Wayne, and there's no train that went to Fort Wayne. The nearest train was 45 minutes from Fort Wayne. That's what killed Fort Wayne. Again, another championship for the Warriors. Then we have Boston getting their first one. Bill Russell's rookie year, you see? Bill Russell's rookie year. They get their first one by beating the Hawks. But what happens the second year? Bob Pettit puts it in Bill Russell's ass. He drops 50 on Bill Russell. Bill Russell's so great. Bob Pettit was dropping 50 on Game 7. Is that what they give me right here? Let's see. Let's see. Third franchise for the third was the third in the franchise for St. Louis, ninth in the basketball, 12th overall coming off their trip to the 57. The Hawks won the Western by 8 games, 41 wins and 31 losses. Wow. That's a pretty sucky record. 41-31. My goodness. But yeah, Bob Pettit. And then the Lakers got another one in. This Lakers lost to Boston, and we have Boston's 8 in a row. This is really what kept pro basketball, the country interested in pro basketball, was some reason locked into this. And again, Lakers lose here. They like the Hawks because Bob Pettit, Hawks. See this? Lakers, Hawks. So, the Hawks was once, they was carrying the league. And then we see Lakers lose. We see 64, Nate Thurman loses to them. Nate Thurman might not have been there. Then we see them beat the Lakers. This is again Jerry West, Elgin Baylor. Jerry West, Elgin Baylor. And then we see Wilt get his first one. Of course, they win 4-2. Wilt get his first one in 67. Definitely beating Nate Thurman here. And then we see Boston when Wilt is with the Lakers. He loses 2 in a row. Well, no. Okay. Well, they made a mistake here. They made a mistake. Okay, nope, here we go. And this one was definitely fixed. This is where we see the bounce right here. The 69 game, Bill Russell being the coach, this is where we see the big bounce, where we see 2 of the first shots that were manipulated. I thought, matter of fact, there's a manipulated in 1968 too. I've caught a manipulated shot in that, which actually might be the first one. I've got to re-look at this information, but that's what it appears like. The first manipulated shot might have been the year before. But we know we get the bounce here. We know this game was fixed. Wilt Chamberlain scores 42 points when Willis Reed doesn't play. Then a broken Willis Reed plays and Wilt doesn't do shit. So this is Kareem's first one in 71. Kareem beat Earl Monroe. Then we see Wilt where they went. Now it used to be 32-0. Now it's 33-0. Isn't that some shit? Then we see the Knicks. They loved the Knicks at one point. They haven't been back, though. This is Earl Monroe. Earl Monroe did not play on this Knicks championship right here. But Walt Frazier and the rest of them. But Earl Monroe did play on this one. And then this one, as I brag about this series in 74, where Kareem throws that hook from the corner, that's money. That's money. And they lose game 5, but they lose. In the first walk of shame, we see the first walk of shame in this game with Oscar Robertson walking off. Then we see Golden State's first one with my alumni, Al Atlas. Al Atlas won a championship with Rick Barry. Next year, Boston beats Phoenix. Not a very good Boston team. The last kind of swan song for the Boston, I think this was Bob Cousy's last season. Or not Cousy, excuse me, John Havlicek. But, they want you to believe that 6'8", what was his name? Dave Collins. They really want you to believe that Dave Collins could go at Jabbar at 6'8", and Jabbar used to just destroy him. But, the calls and everything. And then we have the most improbable. Again, we see the mocking of 42. They were up. They blew them out the first 2 games, and they lose 4 straight. I mean, this was just not believable. Bill Walton's championship. Then the Bullets win here. The Bullets beat the Supersonics. Then the next year, the Supersonics beat the Bullets. See? Downtown, Freddie Brown, Max Johnson, and people forget. Somebody was trying to break down Dennis Johnson when Dennis Johnson played with the Celtics, talking about, well, he was a rookie. No, he was a rookie here in 79. Then the Lakers, Magic. Then it bounces to Larry Bird, back to Magic. Dr. J still relevant, so they give him and Moses one. 2 ABA players achieved a championship, remember? Right here, 2 ABA players. Then they give it back to Boston. Larry Bird, back to the Lakers, back to Boston, but they knew Boston could only win if it was against the Rockets. And then they see what happens. Larry Bird loses. Larry Bird loses. No, Larry Bird loses. Isaiah gets over the hump. Really, they were knocked out. Isaiah put them in the championship. Then the 2 from the Pistons. Pistons beat the Lakers both times. Look at this. Lakers made it 1, 2, 3. 3 years in a row. 1, 2, 3. But look at the Lakers. 1, 2 out of... Look at this. We could go back here. Like, really, look at Magic's career. How many times he was in the finals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 times. Now, I think it's actually 9 times Magic was in the finals. And we only see Michael Jordan with 3. That's it. He only made 3. He won these 3. That's it. And you got other players making 8, 9, 10 appearances, so. Then, of course, the 2, which Michael probably would have won these 2. They beat the Knicks in Orlando. And this Orlando team, I mean, the way they beat LeBron to knock LeBron out there, you're hitting all them threes. Then they come against this team and they don't hit any threes. Then they get Rodman, and they got Rodman running through them. Rodman. Then again, we got Popovich, the military intelligence officer, gets his first championship beating the Knicks. They weren't going to ever give Pat Ewing the championship. He won a championship in college. Then we have Kobe and Shaq winning their 3. Beating Pacers, Sixers, Iverson, sorry Nets, and then we get San Antonio beating a sorry Nets team. So I don't know. Little history of the hooping. That's all. Little history of hooping. Okay, yeah. Let me see. NBA trying to be like soccer. Did you make it to play pickleball? No, I didn't play pickleball today, but I ran a mile on the treadmill with inverted, and I did some rope work. So, I might I think I'm going to check out the near court. That's what I'm going to start doing. Instead of driving way to where I used to work, I think I'm going to play closer to where I live, start playing closer. So, yeah. But so now I didn't get a chance to play today. My fiance wasn't feeling so good. She tweaked her knee a little bit, so I was kind of hanging with her. The map's just as bad as the news. Same thing happened in NHL tonight. Yeah, Fairview Nationals turned into the Sixers. Okay, the National. Thank you, Anthony. They turned into the Sixers. Okay, couldn't remember. But D Still, what's happening? And if I did this already, I know you still got vision. Thank you for joining me. So I just bring those points up to just show you that this is this is a script. This is not this is entertainment, and they're trying to, as much as they want the world basketball to come here, they're trying to take the world basketball as well, and so they have to make their product better, because right now, I mean, the ratings, we'll see the ratings again. The ratings weren't great for even with the Heat winning. Nobody cares about this team. What did Ali say? They can't carry no gate. They can't carry the gate. So, but man, it's been a lot of tripping. It was some tripping up here. Let me see if I can. Yeah, right here. Young guys, man. Young guys. All right. My favorite station, local news. They're at it again.
To Minneapolis, a half dozen young suspects in this wrecked Kia are hurt, including the 12-year-old behind the wheel. So are 2 innocent bystanders, including one man who was waiting at this destroyed bus stop. As our David Schumann reports, the sheriff's office says that they did.
Oh my goodness. Hey. Just think of how unlucky you gotta be, you sitting here. Now, this is right by Prince's sister's house. I just drove by here yesterday. This is 55. Yeah, this is 55. And just how lucky you got to be to get hit right here. I mean, that is just seriously some unlucky. Like, you had to not really been paying attention, looking at your phone, and next thing you know, a bumper's you eating a bumper. But okay.
Bus stop. As our David Schumann reports, the sheriff's office says that they did everything.
Amelia she never disappoints. Her hair's always whipped. The makeup ain't too much. It was cooler today, but it was still in the 80s, so I don't know about this. This looks a little hot, but let's go.
By the book.
Mangled cars, a destroyed bus shelter, and 8 people injured, 6 of them children, who are now also suspects. This was the result of a police chase tracking down a stolen Kia, suspected of being involved in several armed robberies Monday. The 6 kids, 5 boys and a girl, were in the Kia driving erratically in North Minneapolis, according to the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office. Detectives were working with Minneapolis cops when they recognized the suspect Kia and gave chase. Police say the kids crashed into an SUV on Highway 55 at Penn Avenue, injuring the other driver, and then hit the bus shelter, sending a man on the street to the hospital. When it comes to starting a chase, all the Sheriff's Office policy says is that it's okay when it's reasonable to believe that a suspect is attempting to evade arrest or detention. Deputies do also have to consider 13 factors, including the seriousness of the suspected crime and how busy the area is and time of day. The Sheriff's Manual says the immediate apprehension of a suspect is generally not more important than the safety of the public. A Sheriff's Office spokesperson.
Okay, that is a slippery slope because it's policies of cities not to pursue because of injuries. And there are cities that have done just what you see and got sued and lost in court and had to pay the thieves. So this is a slippery slope about pursuing because a lot of places don't pursue anymore.
And confirmed that choosing to start Monday's chase was consistent with department policy. Minneapolis PD loosened its chase policy last month, adding felony firearm discharges to the crimes acceptable to go after someone for. The change allowed for a recent chase that ended with Chief Brian O'Hara running down and arresting a young suspect wanted on gun charges. In Minneapolis, David Schumann, WCCO News.
No word yet tonight on possible charges.
Yeah, so that's a slippery slope. That's a slippery slope. That is not a given, and they could still be sued. They could still be sued. No, I think. Oh no, this was yeah. I caught this morning.
Did you know that
I caught this morning, and is this a? Yeah, check this out. Here we go. I don't know if this is a continuation of a story. I think it's, let's see.
Standoff in western Wisconsin over the weekend. Investigators say 42-year-old Tyler Abel of rural New Richmond, Wisconsin, died after threatening law enforcement with a gun. WCCO's Marielle Mose spoke to some residents who say that this shooting adds to the pain they've been feeling for a while now.
Everybody's on edge a little bit.
It may look like a typical Monday morning in downtown New Richmond, Wisconsin, but a shooting over the weekend that killed a 42-year-old father of 2 was top of most people's minds.
Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible.
Investigators say Tyler Abel was shot and killed Saturday night in Star Prairie, just north of New Richmond. Abel's wife called police saying he was making threats about getting out his assault rifle. When law enforcement got there, Abel was inside with his 2 kids and threatened officers. He eventually came out and confronted officers with a gun. A New Richmond officer and a St. Croix deputy fired at Abel, killing him.
I was just at home with my kids and I just heard a bunch of sirens.
Chad Constantino lives just up the road from where this shooting happened. After 3 Wisconsin law enforcement officers were killed in the line of duty in just the past 2 months, he feels for these officers who are put in a tough situation.
I think that's why the police are taking extra precautions right now for people who are waving around guns in our community. They're going to protect themselves, and I think they have the right to.
Scott Martell says he's worried about irresponsible gun ownership in his community.
I'm not anti-gun as far as hunters go, but the AK-47s, that's kind of nonsense.
In New Richmond.
And hopefully it doesn't happen again, but unfortunately it probably will.
Marielle Mose, WCCO News.
Yeah. I mean, it is just,
New details tonight in a chaotic chase through the streets of Minneapolis.
I didn't need that. All right. Oh, here we go. Damn. Get some again. Wow. Here we go.
He was already violent anyway, and we all knew it. And we had told her to stay away from him. But she cared about him, and I can't explain it beyond that.
A southern Minnesota family heartbroken and angry about a domestic homicide. Their loved one shot and killed. Her body left underneath an I-35 overpass. Sabrina Schnorr was killed in Owatonna last week.
The suspect, a one-time romantic partner, was arrested over the weekend. Our Paul Bloom tracking developments tonight. Paul, a digital app actually helped crack this case.
Amy Calcio, Owatonna police told me this was a first for them. Turns out Sabrina Schnorr was using a GPS tracker that allowed people close to her to keep tabs on her exact whereabouts. And when no one heard from her last week, a friend tapped that app to make this tragic discovery.
She was the best big sister I could have ever had.
Serenity Schnorr is devastated.
She was always there if I needed her, and she was just a beautiful person inside and out.
Her sister, Sabrina Schnorr, is gone. Authorities have said the victim of a violent attack by a one-time romantic.
I see a little meth in that, but I don't know. I could be wrong.
Partner left for dead under this I-35 overpass in Owatonna. Sabrina's family, with the help of community members, came here over the weekend and removed all of these piles of trash and debris and painted over the graffiti. It is now a beautiful memorial, painted purple, one of Sabrina's favorite colors, and one associated with domestic violence support.
People came out here and helped. Did a lot of work, and they didn't even know her. What happens, Trent, is ridiculous. Should have never happened.
As for the alleged gunman, Jason Lee Horner, he is in the Steele County Jail. According to the murder charges, Schnorr had become scared of her ex, even reached out to friends to get a gun to feel safer. She also used this real-time GPS app tracker, Life 360, so friends could know her exact whereabouts. It was this app that would eventually lead someone to her body when no one could locate her. Prosecutors report they have surveillance video tracking the pair from the nearby Casey's down the railroad tracks to the underpass, where Horner is eventually seen leaving alone. It's believed he assaulted and then killed her with a single shotgun blast.
She made mistakes, and we had told her to stay away from him.
Schnorr had become scared.
See, this is definitely a meth face. Comes from, you get meth, when they get to tweaking, they get to picking on their face and stuff, and that's what this is. So she probably was too. I mean, I don't know for a fact, but more than likely.
This app that would eventually lead someone to her surveillance video tracking the pair from the nearby Casey's down the railroad tracks to the underpass, where Horner is eventually seen leaving alone. It's believed he assaulted and then killed her with a single shotgun blast.
She made mistakes in her life, everybody does, but she didn't deserve this. No one deserves this.
And it turns out Sabrina's uncle right there works at a business within eyesight of that I-35 overpass. So he was particularly upset by the proximity of this senseless act of violence that stole his niece. As for Horner, his bail was set at $250,000 with conditions that would include GPS monitoring and random drug and alcohol testing should he post.
Wow. So yeah, 250,000. That's like 25 grand. Yeah, 25 grand. He can get out. Damn. So, like, did he have a sawed-off shotgun? What kind of shotgun did he have? The inmate who never. So, it's a mad world, That was old TV series, Mad World. And that's what we seem to have. Yeah, it was one more. Maybe not. Maybe that was it. I think Carrie Levitt might have had a couple that I saw that caught my eye that I wanted to talk about. Oh, maybe not. Tire school skipped school today so they could help clean up. And I say this, I only show this.
What if you could do SE?
Of in preparation, because remember, there's lakes up here everywhere. So everybody's swimming everywhere, but you have to beware. And the danger, remember, in the danger of swimming in really hot water, it's that microbe that exists when you swim in really hot and warm water. But there's so many things that can get you sick, even in lakes. And I've kind of quit swimming in lakes years ago. But
after dozens of people got sick swimming in Lake Schultz in Egan. Sammy Solina has more.
It's a good day for a walk.
We decided we'd check it out.
Or maybe a tan.
Yeah, it's a pretty good day.
At Schultz Lake in Egan.
Last time we came here, all the sand was packed.
It's not a good day for a swim.
It's scary to know that it could happen to any body of water that I swim in.
Caution tape. And an empty beach is not what you want to see at your favorite lake.
I was definitely expecting a lot more people.
The Minnesota Department of Health closed the beach before the weekend after receiving more than 60 reports of people who experienced vomiting or diarrhea. All of them swam at the
new warning from Minnesota Health.
What did I catch here? See if I can catch this again.
What you want to see at your favorite
people.
The Minnesota Department of Health closed the beach before the weekend after receiving more than 60 reports.
Now, this is interesting. When they do this shot, they show this looks like a storm drain. Now, I could be wrong. It could be a log, but it's just funny. If this is a storm drain, it makes you think sewer. But yeah, there's something in this water.
Reports of people who experienced vomiting or diarrhea. All of them swam at the lake during a 3-day period.
Well, that sounds delightful.
The health department says the symptoms are consistent with norovirus, which gets in the lake through someone's fecal matter.
It's kind of interesting to see it how such a public lake that was once so popular in the heart of the metro area succumb to that.
The health department says they don't know when they can cut the tape and allow people back in the water. They're warning those who show symptoms to not go into.
So what they're showing you is sewer got in this lake. Somebody dumped sewer in this lake.
To any lake or pool.
A shame that it closed.
Right now, the department is working with sick people to confirm the virus.
Yeah, it's super dead and eerie.
And even though it's the season for a dip,
people have to hold off on their fun for a couple weeks.
Today is not the day at Schultz. Sammy Solina, KARE 11 News.
Didn't show his girlfriend, did they?
A new warning from.
They didn't show his girlfriend. Wow, that was interesting. So remember that. I don't care for lakes. I'll put my legs in them, but that's about it. My daughter and my children, they like that shit, but I don't. What was this here?
And we start the 5 of the big story tonight. The 15.
No, this ain't here, but this is Fairfax. I think that's Virginia. And this was a couple days ago. Yeah, here we go. I mean, you could do this every day. This is just constant. You can constantly talk about these things.
13 on board a Prince George's County school bus is on his way to an adult detention center until his next hearing.
Let's get right over to Fox 5's Stephanie Ramirez, who was in the courtroom today. Steph?
And guys, in court today, the prosecutor referred to this May 1st school bus assault as a very violent, very aggressive plan, a coordinated and sophisticated attack that traumatized multiple people. Here's the state's attorney on a question from our colleague on what word she has for other young people engaging in acts like this.
My office has no choice but to hold you accountable. That's what we're going to do.
So, my message is that we love you, we care about you, we want you to be successful. But if you engage in violent behavior, we have to and we will hold you accountable.
And in court today, Baby K's attorney Keith Shostak said the 15-year-old was actually on the way to his law office on Baltimore Avenue Tuesday afternoon when the Capital Area Regional Fugitive Task Force unexpectedly showed up and arrested the teen. He argued for Baby K to go to a juvenile detention facility, but the judge said no. He's just 15, is what Shostak said multiple times in court. The assistant state's attorney says that this crime shocked the nation and left the community in fear for nearly a month while the teen was on the run. The state's attorney's office is charging Baby K and 3 other co-defendants, all as adults. What if they argue Baby K was the ringleader, is something the state's attorney answers here.
When we hear parents say, well, my child is a good child and never caused me any problems, and I can't believe that my child could do such a thing. It must have been someone else. Guess what? It was your child. If your child knows that they're going to board a bus to attempt to kill a child, whether they have the gun or not, they're acting in concert with others to commit the most heinous crime imaginable.
Hey, did y'all check this out? Let me see if I can get it. What's up with her hair back here? Look at this. This is her hair. You can see this is all weaved in, and this is all unbelievable. All unbelievable. But look at this. Nappy looking, and then, I didn't know if y'all caught that. But she was mocking people. They're saying if the child plans in advance to seriously beat someone, and they're charged in this little boy with attempted murder, first-degree attempted murder.
And guys, we did learn some more information today on.
And remember, that's laying in wait. Planning or laying in wait is first-degree murder. Planning, pre-planned, or laying in wait.
Why D.C. officials are planning to charge Baby K with first-degree murder while armed for the murder of a co-defendant's sister in the days after this bus assault in D.C. But they're planning.
Why can't they say his name? Why do they have to use the Baby K? Because that's a mocking. Again, all the rappers, little baby, this is a mocking, saying, okay, we're going to, and this is how much of a mocking is. This is how much a mocking that is. They're calling him a baby, but yet they're charging him as a man. Do you dig the psychological way to look at this? They're saying they're charging him as a man, but yet they still refer to him as a baby. So that sounds pretty cold-blooded, and that sounds contradictive. But it just shows the emasculating of the people. All right, let's go.
Planning to make the charge as a juvenile here. And so while the Attorney General's office cannot comment specifically on juvenile matters, they did tell us that the overall process, and in that overall process, there is no avenue for prosecutors to seek extradition as an adult when there is a juvenile charge. That's what I'm told. And that what basically has to happen is that because he's 15 years old, in the case of a 15-year-old, that the attorney, once the juvenile is in D.C. or if charged in D.C. already, has to petition a judge. The attorneys have to petition the judge and basically allow, according to the judge would allow that teen to then be transferred over to the adult court instead of being stayed or remain in juvenile system. Now, we are told that extradition hearing has not happened.
Now, that's interesting. I don't know if you guys caught that or not. So what she's saying is, if you charge him as a child, you can never upcharge. So he would be stuck in the juvenile. But if you start to charge as an adult, of course, you can always plead to something less. So, okay, I understand that. That makes sense.
Yet, but it is something that officials here are looking out for. Back to you.
The message was
the world is, it's like you can constantly. Oh, wow. Now, maybe this is the same. This might be the same people's. Let's see. Driver survived attack on her school bus. Speaks. Okay, this must be the whole story. So let's see if this is the whole story or not. Did I get it?
Hayden Holland, a.k.a. Baby K, and 3 others are locked up. Bus driver Natalie Brower.
So what is this
and
dude's,
3 others.
what is his name?
15-year-old Caden Holland.
Caden Holland is his name, but they still refer to him as a baby. Why? I mean, that makes no sense. And even on this thing, they don't tell his real name of Caden. They didn't spell it out, but they definitely spelled, okay, I'm sorry. They definitely spelled, look at this, I'll start again.
15-year-old Caden Holland, a.k.a. Baby K, and 3 others are locked up. Bus driver Natalie Brower said she finally feels safe enough to speak.
When I saw the handle of that gun, the only thing I could do was call on the name of Jesus. And when I called on the name of Jesus, that gun jammed, and I saw those live rounds come out of that clip. And can't nobody tell me that Jesus, me calling on that name, changed that whole situation.
Brower has been
What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing?
That's what I say.
hailed as a hero by Prince George's County Police Chief Malik Aziz for staying on duty in the school bus during a caught-on-camera attempted murder allegedly committed by children. The oldest, Baby K, only 15.
My motherly instincts kicked in first. I didn't think about my safety. I wanted to protect that child when I saw that gun. I guess I was just frozen. I mean, that was the least thing, the furthest thing that came to my mind was somebody jumping on the bus attempting to kill someone. It never even came into my thoughts.
Brower recalled how the gun failed to fire.
Seeing that gun jam and thinking that he was sitting in the seat directly behind me, right behind me when they attacked him.
Brower said when the teens fled, she paused long enough to get a bus aide who jumped off back on the bus and drove everyone to safety several blocks away to call for help.
Yes, this has changed my whole life. That's all I talk about. I have been happy.
Well, somebody needs to talk about this top. Like, where did you, is this Elaine Bryant? But I mean, okay. But I mean, it's just, it's not stylish, you know? This is, okay, let's go. This is like 10 summers ago you wear that shit, but let's go.
That's all I talk about. I have been having insomnia. I had to go to the doctor, and anxiety since this occurred. My family is a big support, but I know I talk about it all the time, every day.
Brower spoke with the president of her union. Both called for more security in schools.
He's a Mason, you know. He's telling you what's happening. He's telling you who's hiding back here. But look at, he's telling you what time it is.
Schools and aides on every Prince George's County school bus to help stop what they call an epidemic of fighting and out-of-control kids. Brower said she hasn't gone back to driving and may call it quits. In Prince George's County, Scott Broom, WUSA 9.
Damn, DC. Baby K is a motherfucker. Baby K. Well, you know Baby K is coming after you. If Baby K comes after you, you're in trouble. Damn. You know who we need, y'all? Hey, you know who we need? We need King Vaughn. We need King Vaughn right now to tell us about Baby K. You know, when you listen to King Vaughn, he's telling you a story. You be like, what was next? And that's next, and that's next. We needed a story about how would King Vaughn rap it? He's like, me and my crew. How does his storytell rap? How do you drill rap? Me and my crew was getting ready, and you knew what we was gonna do. I had the 9 in my little shoe. We jumped on the bus. The gun jammed. We beat him up, and then I ran. You know, King Vaughn be setting it up. What's next, Vaughn? Well, we jumped on the bus. What's next, Vaughn? Hey, it's just, Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? She saw the live rounds come out of the gun. Yeah, if he didn't shoot, there's no live rounds. What she meant was she saw the ammunition. He probably tried to clear it, and she saw the ammunition when they tried to clear it. But yeah. Hey, what's up, Tyrone? Thank you for joining me. And I know to be here, you got to have vision. Oh, El Dragon, what's happening? Oh, I'm saying, yeah, Amaru Khan, and I know that you have got to have vision to be here. So it's like the world is like every day. The world every day, they got some goofy shit that it's just like, wow. You just never know. Never know. Yeah, and I came across this, and I know this is not going to be interesting to most people, but I called the little sixth grader. I said, "You want to eat? I give you a pair of Jordans for your feet." Oh, wow. All right. Yeah, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I mean, even in, a sad story like that, there's still, some truth in it. There's still some truth in the story. But it just shows again what would drive, like say they killed the guy, like what drove them to that? That's the story I like to know. Like, you can't say that lack of opportunities wasn't why, you can't say, well, lack of opportunities is why this young boy wanted to kill this other boy on the school bus and planned to kill him. And this is where the masks have backfired. Woo! Because the young boys, started wearing the mask again. That's where it backfired. And it's funny, I think we all knew, if we put those masks in a never time and place, it doesn't work. And now, those same masks that was forced upon us, people used them. And, people are still knowing who was. Like, hey, did you know who that was? Even with the mask on, that was Baby K. That was Baby K. Everybody knows that was Baby K, and, that was Baby K. Who do you think it was? Oh, it was Baby K. Everybody on the bus. Definitely Baby K. There's a few people out there that probably can relate. I've said many times, Battle Creek, Michigan is a big veteran city. And so they kind of go through some of this.
Begin with some late breaking news tonight. The VA doctor at the center of Care 11's multi-year broken promises investigation has been terminated. And now hundreds of veterans being recalled for new neurological exams. AJ Legault is here with an update on this incredibly important story. AJ.
Arena, our investigation exposed war wounded and
this is not working, Jethro. You took this is not working at all. I dare say the suit is a little young for you, like especially in here. See, the button should lay flat, and you see the button feels distress. I think the better look would have been, I guess maybe he's hiding the mic. I left it open. You could still drape your jacket, even though, it's not buttoned, but this is like too much. And of course, yeah, that's a toupee too. That's hair added, but let's go.
and sick veterans systematically misdiagnosed and denied benefits after seeing the same VA doctor. Tonight we've learned that doctor has been fired. At the Toma VA, Carol Livin.
Let me say this, though. Let me say this. It would be interesting to see who the doctor's bosses was. And for those veterans, no, it's not an easy thing to get your disability from the military. It's different degrees of like I have a partner from Vietnam that he got because he got disability because of Agent Orange. They were dropping napalm on people and making niggas walk through that shit right afterwards. That's a fact. Sorry the way I said it, but what I said is real. So, okay. Keep that in mind.
Investigation revealed Dr. Mary Jo Lanska's seemingly routine and obvious misdiagnosis of veterans during brief benefits exams.
And I'm told I don't have a TBI.
Put it on the report that I didn't even have MS.
What'd she say about your Parkinson's?
I didn't have any Parkinson's.
Dr. Lanska never responded to phone calls or emails.
Dr. Lanska, AJ Legault.
So we knocked on her door.
I'd like to ask you some questions about all the veterans that you've been misdiagnosing.
After more than a year of obfuscation and outright denial that a problem even existed, the Department of Veterans Affairs, responding to pressure from members of Congress, finally took action.
Dr. Lanska no longer works at VA.
VA Secretary Dennis McDonough himself visited Toma today to discuss the Lanska cases.
We will make sure that any veteran who got a CMP exam from Dr. Lanska and was denied access to benefits has their case reviewed. I promise you that this is a top priority for us.
Well, U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin's office tells me they've been briefed and roughly 600 veterans are being recalled for new medical testing and potentially decades of benefits backdated to when they first applied.
Well, goodness, I really do hope that comes through for them because it's so well deserved. And this investigation was clearly a bullhorn for this problem. How did this all get started? I mean, this is over in Toma. You've been working on this for so long.
Yeah, this investigation started about a year and a half ago when one veteran, his name's Brandon Winishek, he reached out and he'd been repeatedly misdiagnosed, told he did not have a traumatic brain injury after surviving multiple explosions while he was in Iraq.
Yeah.
And
wow. Okay, now think about this. Now, to all the veterans out there, think about the times you've been around explosions. And to say that this explosion, and again, there's degrees of how close you are, the concussion and all that. I do understand that. But that could count in your favor too. It's like, hey, we saw the shit blowed up and he was 10 feet. Or you were 20 feet, or if it knocked you off your feet. And if this happens more than once, I mean, just think of just something little like this, where you've been around that kind of shit and shit blow up and knock you off your feet a couple times a day. And maybe not that often, but just think, you've been near shit where shit blew up and it knocked you off your feet. Again, I haven't studied the Gulf War of Afghanistan, a little bit of Afghanistan and Russia, but I've studied the hell out of Vietnam, World War II. And that could happen all the time. Or the shit blew up somewhere near you and you just had to hit the dirt. That's very common. I said, my uncle came home from Vietnam. I think I said this the other night. He came to see me when I was 4 or 5, and it thunderstormed. This nigga hit the carpet. He went from a sitting position full in his Navy uniform, hit the carpet. Hit the carpet. He was in Vietnam. So that's, I mean, it seems, see, as I said before, one of my relatives getting killed because of his expertise. This is a real thing. And what can happen with military people is they become throwaway people. And we see that time and time again. Again, they don't get the benefits, and then they get forced to slip through the cracks. I mean, look at how many homeless vets there are. Now, and what would lead to, drug addiction instead of just casual drug user? Because like it or not, there are heroin people that are just casual heroin users. I've said many times, I lived with a dude for a few months. But a person with pain, any kind of pain, of course he wants something that's going to take pain away. And so opiates do that. So you would think people that risk their life, because think of how hard, and this is the opposite. This is the opposite. The way veterans are treated is the opposite of the way they recruited. And I don't think my brother would mind me using this. Like I've told this story before. I begged my brother. I said, don't just straight join the Air Force. I said, do like your cousins do. Go to school, go through ROTC. But they had brainwashed him. I think that's correct. They had brainwashed him and telling him that he could move up just as much without being an officer. And he did end up being the sergeant, I think, in the Air Force. But compared to coming out of first lieutenant, you dig. But my point about bringing him up is he was sold. So think of the opposite of how they shun you once you try to get your medical benefits compared to the way you're recruited. And now, they're giving big bread out now. I mean, they're giving big bread for people to join them because people don't really want to join. But okay, let's see what anything left.
He asked for help, and he said he wanted his story to make a difference for other veterans, and it certainly is.
600 other veterans.
Yeah,
at least. And so if there's somebody out there who thinks they might have been treated or misdiagnosed by this doctor, is there something they can do?
Sure, certainly. They have created a hotline for veterans to call. We've put that in.
Okay. I'm going to show this and I'm going to talk about something. And this is why I hate TNT, Turner Television. This is what you're taught in communication class, TV production class. You're taught to look at the camera. And one thing I hate about Shaq, Kenny, and Charles Barkley is they have started where brothers don't look at the camera. Turner was the first to do that. And don't tell me it looks more like they're talking to each other. No. It's to take Europeans not being intimidated by brothers looking into the camera. You can't think it's anything but that. I think it's stupid to see them looking at each other. I mean, but now it's become the norm. But that comes from TNT. And it's always, it's always the brothers that they want to see look at someone else while they're on the camera and not looking to the camera. But let's go.
Information on care11.com, and they also tell me that they're going to be trying to reach out proactively to every veteran who had an exam.
Now, see, and this is the batter, but no one cares. You're not talking to each other. You're talking to me. You're talking to the audience. So, we feel sorry for anybody that is, in this viewing area that did affect. Because it's, if people don't, slip through the cracks and get the proper help they need, then people can really start to heal. That's what it's all about. And that's all we're saying. And I think that's all that anybody is saying is like, if, I went in here at a certain age and I was fine by all your physicals. After this happened, I wasn't fine. I got blowed the fuck up. I ain't been fine since. So I feel for anybody out there. If I feel for you. I feel for you. I think I love you. I'm not gonna go very long. Yeah, I'm a nip it in the bud in a few minutes. And there's not another game on until I think Wednesday. I don't think there's another game on tomorrow. I think the game is Wednesday, right? They're traveling. I think the next game's Wednesday. I usually keep it here. Let's see. Let me get the schedule. I'll get you reading. Where is it at? NBA schedule. Well, I'll do a new search. NBA scores. They'll give me the schedule. Right here. Yeah, Wednesday, excuse me, June 7th. Yeah, next game is, the games are going to be Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah. So Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. And so you can look at the hockey games. It's going to be, I don't think they're playing tomorrow. No, it's Tuesday. So the hockey game might even be Wednesday. If they're not going to play, they're playing Wednesday. I don't think, so hockey game must be, Thursday. Monday, Thursday, I bet, for hockey. Let's see. So those that are hockey people, they'll show this. Oh, the game was end up being 7-2. And let's see. NHL. Here we go. NHL schedule right here. Thursday, just like I said. Yeah. Like I said. Yeah, the next game will be June 8th, Thursday. And the only time they're going to bump heads is, what is it? What did I say? Friday, Sunday. Yeah, so it's Saturday. So, yeah, they're not bumping heads at all. They're staying out the way of them. So, if you like hockey, and I think it's softball and all that crap going on too. So it's what you like. Everybody do what you like. I see guys and girls dancing. Ooh. What is... they're trying to keep you hyped. I mean, this is what's bad about the NBA. The NBA is the ratings are so horrible that right now they're trying to make you think about next season with Kyrie and who's Kyrie going to. I mean, that's how horrible it is that you constantly got these other stories. You've got these other stories going around. Like they was complaining about when LeBron lose, and that's what a lot of people said. All the talk was LeBron and his greatness, but everybody was like, hey, he lost. It's over for him. So why is he still getting attention? Oh, and for all you people that like these Hemi cars, remember they're made by Stellantis. And they have some of the worst quality in the history of automobile cars. Cars with them high names. What is it? Maserati, Aston Martin, Stellantis own all that. Stellantis own cars. Them cars ain't good cars. Ain't reliable cars that they want you to pay a premium for. There's one more story in here that I'm looking for. Ooh, an umpire takes 96-mile-an-hour fastball to the face. Ooh, I think we can find this. Damn. Umpire. Hit in face. Yes. Okay, here we go. See.
Wilson well off the line at first.
Wow, let me make that bigger. Let's look at that in slow again. Okay, here we go. Watch the umpire. Boom. Ooh. 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 Even with the mask on, it knocked him down. It still knocked him down with the mask on. See, I was talking about, people getting blowed up. He got blowed up real good. He shook. Oh, that was the end of the game? You kidding me? That was the walk-off? That was a walk-off. Oh, that was fake then. That was a walk-off? Hitting the ref in the face and the ball bouncing crazy was walk-off. Oh, yeah. The catcher didn't even try to get the ball. Look, the catcher didn't even chase the ball. Catcher worrying about the ref. And this was walk-off. Wild pitch. Wild pitch, they won. Damn. Damn. Woo. Watch the first one. The first one shows it the best. Okay, let's start that again. Okay. Watch the ump. Pow. Ooh. Damn. Ooh. Ooh. Damn. Yeah, I think that was the last story I had. Yeah, the world is. I think that was what I had. It was one more story, but I can't find it. Yeah, I think that was it. And you know, they like they're telling you this chick's been in jail. It's like she's going to jail. She's in jail, but it's quiet. I'm like, okay, the millionaire's in jail. Who cares? Oh my goodness. Let me see if I can find this. Yes. Let's see. I forgot about that. Yeah, let's see if I can find this. Let's find this. Oh. Excel. Search. Review. See if I can get this to pull up. Here we go. I found it. Yeah, I meant to bring this up the other day. Okay, here we go. The date is May 30th, and I'm sorry I didn't show this, but I forgot about it. But here we go. Concert with vocal assistant Janet Jackson crams in her many hits at the Excel Center. And the time, in the time 86 breakthrough, What Have You Done For Me Lately? And her final number one, 2000's All For You, Janet released 38 single, blah, 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 blah. As she did the Target Center 15 and Treasure Island 4 years later, Jackson went for quantity over quality. She performed shortened versions of her biggest hit, several cases, cut them down even further, sang them as medleys. Janet, who turns 57, and why is she touring, kicked off her nearly 2-hour show after a crowd-pleasing opening set from Ludacris. So they gave Ludacris props. She performed on a relatively sparse stage that looked like an open dance floor with a series of large screens that changed position through the evening. Her band, which included piped-in backing vocals, stayed mostly tucked away in the back, leaving Jackson and her 4 agile male dancers the focal of the show. The show rolled out the 4 acts, each with its own color scheme, starting with purple and gold. She opened with the track Demetra Joe, a remix of Together Again, which she performed 2 more times. So she just kept singing this song over and over again. Wow. Also, name of feedback, so much better. The big one of the night, if easily one of her finest moments, drew huge applause. The big problem, however, was Jackson's voice, which was buried in the bass heavy mix, particularly during the melodies. It was sometimes tough to catch the transition between songs. She also appeared to be singing in a track that occasionally let her take over, which is called ducking. Particularly during her more intense dance moves. For 83, again, Jackson let the audience sing most of the lyrics. It got to be frustrating to get into a groove of "What have you done for me lately?" or "When I think of you," or "Love will never do without you," only for Jackson already to be barreling into the next song. So not getting any feeling out of the song. All the rushing were numerous momentum-killing interludes where Jackson left the stage mostly instrumental, seemingly pre-recorded mashups played over the speakers. One of the highlights was seeing Jackson's sensual sides emerge again as she more chaste when she was married, blah, blah, blah. At one particular stormy moment, her dancers stripped off their shirts. Jackson plucked one down on a chair and gave him a big old kiss on the lips. Wow. So, Janet was trash. Janet was trash. Oops. Janet was here and she was trash. I forgot to mention that. Janet had a trash concert here. Her concert was trash. Forgot to mention that. Punished. But yeah, Janet was trash. So, yeah, I don't know if I have much more, y'all. And I'm not going to do a show tomorrow night because it is Tuesday night or the Wednesday morning. I don't do shows Wednesday morning, but depending, because I might play pickleball today. I don't know. I'm still probably. We got a lot to do, and I'm trying to do a lot of different things. So if I can play pickleball, I will. It would be easier for me to get up in the morning and go play. That would be the super easiest thing. But I'm probably not going to go to bed till 3, and then trying to get up at 7, 8 is kind of hard. So we'll see. And, for all of you out there, the parents, with the children winding down, most children only have a day or two. The children up here only have a day or two left of school. And I'm sure that's around the rest of the country. But I must say, you people live in the South, boy, y'all don't let y'all children out of school. Y'all have graduation and the rest of them be right back after the graduation. When I be looking at like my children don't go to school till after Labor Day. Up here in the Midwest, we don't go to school till after Labor Day. But some of y'all be like July, y'all children be back in school. Y'all be happy to get rid of these mugs, put them back. Yeah, I knew people that went to school. They say Asians and Europeans go to school all year long. As far as in Europe, Europeans, and in Asia, they go to school all year long. But again, their futures are judged by the time they're 7th and 8th grade. They don't really let people bloom. My daughter got out of the summer last Friday. Okay, your daughter's already out. Janet needs to prep more, definitely. Yeah, so because my nephew graduated. He graduates Thursday, so we're going back to the U.S. Bank for graduation. So we'll be back in the U.S. Bank Thursday for graduation. So I'll be in the city for graduation. Yeah, and maybe a little party or something. I don't know, might party a little bit. Because, I talked about my son's birthday was this past day. But his partner sent him some bread too. We gave my son some bread, bought him some groceries, and I sent his partner some bread. I was like, well, I don't know when you get paid or what you got paid, but whatever. If, he said he didn't have no bread. So I was like, well, if you want to buy him a little something or a car, whatnot, send him some bread too. Because his man had some bread and they had groceries. So, life should be good for them for a minute. So, yeah, so that's we're doing that. What's cool is my brother-in-law, he built a pool, and this is a monster pool. I'll probably do a live out there. The pool is, when all that stuff is done out there, it is just monster. And so I think that's what we're doing for Father's Day. We're going to be up in the pool. So it's kind of cool. And the other in-law got her boat docked at the Mississippi River. She got her boat docked. So Yeah. So the waterways and the water is starting to recede. As you see, I don't have any more real stories about floods because almost up and down the Mississippi, the water has appeared to have receded. So um, I still, question when they talk about droughts in some of the areas because again, it's water everywhere, and it's under like it's one this one property they must have an underground lake because it's other than when we had the extreme drought a few years ago. That was the only time I've ever seen it dry. But if it's normal condition, this year round, it's a block of ice in the winter, and this is where he has cows. So it's a kind of I don't know if I'd ever want that property. I don't know how you could get away from all that water that seems to accumulate. Caught some kind of movement to my left. I looked and saw something move. Caught it. All right. All right. That's all right. Energy shooting around here. So yeah. So I hope everybody's enjoying it. The weather is, very nice. It was in the 80s. It's cooler than it was last week. Last week was like high 90s. But and we had some storms. But it's been nice here. Really nice. And nice to be out. We end up turning the air off. I think the air is on now, which the air helps. I have the fans on. I can't burn the sage and stuff. But, the nights do get cool. Well, cool enough where you could just turn, open the windows, turn off the air. But once the air's kicked on, normally people, because we kicked it off earlier, we just kicked the you kick the temperature up, and it still end up coming back on. So, but yeah, there's not a whole lot on my mind tonight, so I don't want to waste your time. Going to see Transformers though. If Transformers Thursday, I will see Thursday, since the NBA game is Wednesday. But definitely Friday. Definitely Friday going to see Transformers. So, but if I go see it Thursday, because generally there's Thursdays when most movies are released. But this is the thing. This is the interesting thing about that is open like which movie, because where I go, there's two Imagine studios, two of the big studios. It's about 20 screens in that sucker. But two, of where they can put the 3D and the extra sound, the IMAX, EMAX, whatever you want to call it. And I think Oppenheimer opens as well. And I have really no interest in seeing that, glorifying a Nazi. I have no interest in seeing how, the people that was working and building them big ICU missiles for the Nazis turned around and started building them for us. And then they fooled everybody trying to say they shot some shit to the moon using these Nazi rockets. And they're proud of their Nazi rockets. Now, if you study where they say atom bombs went off, one thing I'll say this. We know that John Wayne, Susan Hayward, and many, many others, whatever they did blow up, did give people cancer. It appears like. A lot of Hollywood people, John Wayne, Susan Hayward, many others, shot a movie near where they so-called blew something up. All these people got sick. Now, when we look at Nagasaki and Hiroshima, what it appears like is the same thing that was done in Dresden. Dresden, after the war, just out of spite, they killed a bunch of civilians, German civilians, out of spite. And let me say on that same subject, do you know how many of all they call them the concentration camps or the work camps? Do you know how many guards were killed, like at the end of the war? How many of the prisoners were allowed to kill the guards? And how many guards Americans killed, massacred, instead of taking them to, get justice? So, but anyway, if you look at, well, we can look it up. Japan atom bomb. There we go. Let's see, how long is this shit? Let's see. Oh, a couple things. Remember, I'll try this one. Now, remember what Nick Taylor said. Remember a few years ago, I think it was Libya. We saw grain go up, and Nick Taylor said that they can make bombs that will mushroom. But if you look at the damage that was done, it's napalm. These are napalm injuries. Watch these injuries be napalm injuries. Oh, I'm sorry. I wonder if they're paying some whack ass music, which I really don't give a fuck. Let's see.
War in the Pacific had been a costly yet successful campaign.
In August of. All right, let's see. I don't want to talk. Okay. Here's what they want you to think, and this is Oppenheimer. They want you to think that they was able to build 3 of them, nobody else was. All right. And they had to launch it from the plane. Now, remember, what Nick Taylor said is it ain't got to be an atom bomb to create this mushroom. Nick says that this, like from what I got, what Nick said, it would have been a lot like not quite fireworks, but very similar, very similar to get this type of ordnance, to make it ordnance like this. This is subconsciously that what they want you to relate it to. When in fact, that's brainwashing, because there's other ways to achieve this by not being nuclear. So I don't really want to hear what they got to say. I want to see the damage. Killed 50 to 60,000. You know that? Napalm can do the same thing. Napalm can kill just as many people if they dropped it. And again, the way they dropped it in Dresden. I want live coverage to show these injuries. Napalm can knock buildings down like this. It's just heated. Again, we know how much wood was over there. We know how big a factor in China wood was. I want to see real stuff. I want to see injuries. No injuries. Where's injuries? They always bragging on the injuries. Where's injuries? All right, no injuries. Let's see if we can find another one. This shows injuries. That one didn't show any injuries. Let's go back. Oh, what is this? Fucking bullshit music again. All right. I don't know what this shot, giving this child a shot, got to do with it. Oh, he's the same cat from the say. Let's see if injuries. That's all I want to see. I want to see injuries. They always show these blowed up. I've looked at this stuff in the past, and it always looks like burn up people. Now, what's interesting is, remember, these people's, the way they built stuff was wood anyway. This is mostly wooden. Even their factories were wooden. Okay, this is what they want to tell you is happening. It gets so hot in the bomb, and the bomb is just going to explode, and all the atoms are just going to burn the shit out of everybody. This is CGI. That is from a test. CGI blowing out windows. Yeah, huh. Wow. Guess we got to dig deeper, because that does not show injuries. Ah. Maybe this will. Maybe this will.
The first.
Okay, the mushroom. We get the mushroom again. Okay, there's one of the first injuries. Again, burns. These are burns like napalm. See? See? It's napalm. Burns. Burns. It's napalm. Burns like napalm. It's like in Dresden, when they go to Dresden and, people would jump in the river. You jump in the river, the napalm will go out. But long as that oil is on your skin, once you get out that water, you'll start back on fire. So it's like this is a combination napalm, phosphorus. See? These are burns. Yeah. But guess that's the best I can show you. Burns. That's just my selling point. This is what I've watched, my whole life. It's always been, that's what it was. It was burns. And, we know Dresden, almost identical. People don't talk about Dresden. They talk about what was done there, but they don't talk about what was done to Dresden. A city was destroyed for really no reason. Maybe this is, let's see.
Few people laughed. Few people cried. Most people were silent. Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. I suppose we all thought that, one way or another.
On the 6th and 9th of August, 19...
Okay. We don't care about all that. Okay, they're fighting.
Of the weapon that would go on to shape the remainder of the 20th century. Hiroshima was the first city selected to be destroyed by the atomic bomb. It was selected.
But remember, as I said before, Dresden had already been destroyed like this. Dresden had been firebombed just like this. So for them to say both was, they just firebombed 2 more cities. That's all they did.
As it was vital for both manufacturing and military command. It also housed the headquarters for Field Marshal Shunraku Hatta. It was also home to approximately 350,000 people, many living in tightly packed wooden-roofed houses, though the central area of Hiroshima consisted largely of concrete buildings. Nagasaki was selected as the second target for its shipyards, steelworks, and manufacturing centers. Almost all of the workforce of Nagasaki were employed in some form of manufacturing. Unlike Hiroshima, most of the buildings and homes were of wooden construction, again tightly packed. Around 260 people were thought to have been in Nagasaki at the time of the bombing. On the 6th of August 1945, a modified Boeing B-29 Superfortress, given the moniker Enola Gay, flew over Hiroshima in the early morning. The little boy bomb was delivered by parachute at 8:15 in the morning. It was detonated around 2,000 feet above Hiroshima. The resulting blast was equivalent of around 12 to 15,000 tons of TNT. And this was with just 2% of the bomb's uranium achieving fission. At least 80,000 men, women and children died instantly. Over the next few days, the Japanese government reeled from the destruction of Hiroshima. Some considered the surrender proposed
some
1,600 feet over the city of Nagasaki. Anywhere from 40,000 to 75,000 men, women and children were instantly killed. The next day, on the 10th of August, Japanese civilian and military leadership met to discuss whether or not they would agree to the full and unconditional surrender as set out by the Potsdam Declaration. Emperor Hirohito, breaking the tradition of the emperor not meddling in government decisions, declares that he wants to accept the Potsdam Declaration, but only if the title of emperor can remain sovereign. Meanwhile, plans for further nuclear strikes are planned by the Americans. That is, until Japanese media broadcasts leak that Japan intends to unconditionally surrender.
Okay, where's injuries? Where's injuries? No injuries. Where's injuries? Where's injuries? It's the same propaganda. Okay, again, look at this. Look at the injuries. Burns. 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 It's almost like he's been shot. Pellets. Some type of pellet exploded. Something exploded, shooting these pellets like at him.
Lightest of touches as necrosis set in. At the time,
Look at that. Burns. I believe they're saying radiation.
that affected those closest to the center of the blast or those who had consumed irradiated material. Many had consumed water from nearby rivers, driven to do so from the intense heat caused by the blast.
Okay. Did you hear that? Same thing like Dresden. Everybody went into the river. And when they went into the river, they would not be on fire. But when they got out the river, that oil would still be on them and it would reignite.
Unaware of the contamination. And what is most disturbing is that some attempted to drink the oily black rain from the mushroom cloud, though they soon realized it was the atomized remains of the city and people who were once around them. The heat and light from the nuclear bombs were of such intensity that they burned patterns from clothing directly onto the victim's skin. Superheated wristwatches became branding implements for those who wore them too close to the...
I believe phosphorus can achieve something very similar to do to people. So napalm, phosphorus, I mean, it's the same stuff they've been doing to people.
Hypercenter of the blast. Infamous injury associated with the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki are that of the so-called ant-walking alligator people. The term derives from the now discredited book The Last Train from Hiroshima. According to the eyewitness testimonies compiled by the book, they were now eyeless and faceless, with their heads transformed into blackened alligator hides displaying red holes indicating mouths. The alligator people did not scream. Their mouths could not and staggering upside down tilted. Over the next 2 to 4 months, the effects of the bombs killed between 90,000 to 146,000 people in Hiroshima and 39 to 80,000 people in Nagasaki. For months afterward, many people continue to die from the effects of severe burns, radiation sickness, and all manner of injuries caused by the blasts. All of this made worse by the dire conditions, with illness running rampant and a lack of food causing malnutrition. It is important to remember that a great number of forced Korean laborers were in both cities. It is also impossible to know just how many families were entirely wiped out, leaving no one to report the deaths. Health problems did not end after a few months. Pregnant women exposed to the bombings experienced higher rates of miscarriages and deaths among their infants. Those who were able to give birth had children who were more likely to have intellectual disabilities, impaired growth, as well as an increased risk of developing cancers. This can be seen in the increase in leukemia cases. Leukemia cases rose around 2 years following the blasts and would remain high for...
Now, whoops, I'm sorry. I ain't been showing it. Again, we have severe burns. Now, what's interesting is we can see American, European troops going in days after this. And they started taking footage. They're there too. You know, when McCarthy and them, you know, take command, they're still there. They're monitoring this. And that's some of the stuff I was trying to look for. I was trying to look for where, you know, it shows men, again, severe burns. Maybe they're saying that this is leukemia or cancer. Again, we see burns.
Leukemia instances by almost 50%. By the mid-1950s, other forms of cancers started to rise. Thyroid, breast, and lung cancers all spiked. There are even reports of those unlucky or lucky depending on how you view it, to have survived both of the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The first to be recognized as a dual survivor was Tamao Yamaguchi. Yamaguchi was on a business trip to Hiroshima for his company, Mitsubishi Heavy Industries. He was caught up in the first nuclear blast. He was approximately 3 kilometers away from the blast and was left with radiation burns to the top left side of his body. He then returned to his home city of Nagasaki, where he received treatment for the burns, and returned to work on the 9th of August. This time he was unhurt by the blast, but would suffer from an infection due to unchanged bandages. Yamaguchi went on to live a long life.
This guy's a watcher. Yeah, this guy's definitely a watcher. I mean, there's no way he was at both places at the same time. This is some type of and this even would kick in for the Galactics to say that, you know, the Galactics were monitoring, you know, this war and at what point. But yeah, this is some type of watcher. This is no mistake he was at both places. It is no mistake that this guy was at both places. That's not coincidence at all. He's some type of watcher.
Passing away at the age of 93.
You see that? He suffered through both blasts. Given the first one, he was 3 miles away. And yet he lived into his 90s.
To this day, there have only been the bombings at Hiroshima and Nagasaki that represent the only uses of nuclear.
And remember what Brother Nick said, this does not mean it's necessarily that it's an atomic bomb. This is just a certain ordinance that can make it smoke like this. And we saw almost this very same thing in Libya a few years ago, where they said the food granary blew up.
Nuclear bombs against a population. This is not a video discussing whether or not the bombs were justified. This is just a video examining the human cost of employing such devices. In the years that have followed, nuclear bombs have proliferated and grown even more powerful. The destructive capabilities held by only a...
All right, let's say it's going into propaganda. It's going into propaganda. But, I mean, just do your own research. That's all I'm saying. Just do your own research. See what you come up with. And,
discussing whether or not the bombs...
And, you know, see what you think. Yeah, see what you think. So, yeah. That's all. Well, I think that's it for me tonight. I'm going 2 hours. That's cool. I might come on tomorrow afternoon. Busy day, super busy day. Wheeling, dealing, grooving, moving. Yeah. So I'll be back on Thursday morning. So I might be able to sleep in a Big Eagle show. I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see how tomorrow afternoon goes. But again, thank you everyone for joining and listening to me, you know, rant. I appreciate everybody. It's really cool that you come and watch. So I guess, you know, like what do I achieve? You know, what have I achieved in this episode? And I guess what I achieve is being on here and just trying to do better every time. I guess that's what the only thing I really achieved is trying to do better and trying to find something interesting, trying to be funny and engaging and bringing good possibilities bringing out super good possibilities, super good energies. And I got a lot more research to do. I just found a lot more research for myself. But trying to see the Fouché. Oh, here it is. No. And they get into cross-reference. Wow. Oh, this is Verdict in Hindu. Oh, right here. They call it, yeah, when you get into I Ching, Earth, Tao, Heaven, Lake, Thunder, Wind, Earth, Mountain. Where's the one that's wood? Because they also give a credence to wood. Fire, Thunder, Wind, Mountain. Oh well. Oh well. But thank you for joining. And yeah. Till we meet again. Till we meet again. Say less. Start closing it out, y'all. Thank you.
Heavy, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I come. Heavy, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I come. Aye, nigga. Aye, nigga. Aye, nigga. Aye, nigga. Aye, nigga. Do that dance. Do that dance.
I stopped playing games and I mastered it.
Do that dance.
And the fans, they're there for entertainment.
I just be shopping and shit. You know, drinking and shit.
Do that
Do a
dance.
little smoking and shit. That's what me and this nigga do. Hit something and then we rant about it.
I think we OD.
It all breaks down to, what does this mean to me? What does this event mean to me? How does this event affect my thinking? Affect my way of life?
The Chinese platform, you already know they don't give a fuck about your black ass. The Chinese platform, you already know they don't give a fuck about your black ass. The Chinese platform, you already know they don't give a fuck about your black ass.
Your lines are still open. Oh shit, you can get it, nigga. You wanna get it?
Damn white boys out there. Most of them is psychopaths and all that. They'll kill your mama's mama and you.
Decent white folk that still don't know they're racist.
You're my neighborhood superstar. You're my neighborhood superstar. You're my neighborhood superstar. You're my neighborhood superstar.
What the hell you want here, honky?
Where's all that noise? Oh, where's all that noise? Where's all that noise? Oh, that's his dad. Where's all that noise?
Be satisfied. Be satisfied. Be satisfied.
I mean, TikTok. TikTok.
You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes.
I mean, TikTok.
You're a philosopher? Yes.
I mean, TikTok.
You're a philosopher? Yes. I think very deeply. See?
Flag cause he wiped up Future's motherfucking ex-hoe. Flag cause he wiped up Future's motherfucking ex-hoe. Flag cause he wiped up Future's motherfucking ex-hoe.
You don't understand. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. It's cool enough just being cool, like I am, chilling.
Joe Beach. He looked down, seen his feet, the nigga went berserk, killed the monkey, threw the bat out the window, start kicking that bitch in the air. My eye, plus I'm in love with a bitch I can't stand. My eye, plus I'm in love with a bitch I can't stand. My eye, plus I'm in love with a bitch I can't stand.
Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man. Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man. Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man.
For what he has, he says that the only way that we can solve our problem is to unite together among ourselves, among our own kind, clean ourselves up, rid ourselves of the evils that we've become addicted to here in this society, and try and...
This ain't loud enough. This ain't loud. This ain't I just left a light in this bitch. This ain't loud enough. I just left a light in this. This ain't loud enough. I just left a light in this. Fuck up. Move the fuck back. Fuck up. Move the fuck back. Fuck up. Move the fuck. Fuck up. Move the fuck. Fuck up. Move the fuck up. Move the fuck back.
Me and Bubba trying to rescue some kittens.
Off my dome, this is actually taught by the people. Off my dome, this. Off my dome, this. Off my dome, this. Off my dome, this is actually taught.
My bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches? What?
Nigga get mad. Say, motherfucker, what you mean you ain't gonna let me in this funky joint? Much money I done spent in here, nigga. I knew your mama when she was hoeing. Hump, baby. Shit, bet I do it over time. Fade that nigga. Shit. Bet the ball. Off time. Shit, boy, I'm trying to make me some money. Boy, I'm hungry as a hog needs slop Jesus. Shit, gotta be a Jesus, cause too many black folks.
It's going down like this, motherfucker. It's going down like this, motherfucker. It's going down like this, motherfucker. It's going down like this, motherfucker.
Shit, boy, I'm trying to make me some money. Shit, boy, I'm trying to make me some money. Say something. Say something. Say something. I said, can I ask you something? Ain't I'm clean?